So once they all moved over to the Republican Party, and then the moderate Republicans began to lose office in the 80s and 90s, and the last one's going just recently, for the first time we have an ideologically pure division of the parties. And now this groupish tribalism, which is usually not so destructive. We can usually, when you leave the playing field, you can still meet up and be friends. But now that it truly is a moral division, now the other side is evil. And there aren't really pairs of people who can match up and say, well, come on, we all agree on this, let's work together.
You remind me that when we set out to try to pass the Civil Rights Act of 64, the Voting Rights Act of 65, LBJ commissioned us to go spend much of our time with the moderate Republicans in the House and in the Senate, because he said when push comes to shove and when the roll is called, we're going to need them to pass this bill. And at one point, in the signing of one of those bills, he turned and handed the pen to Everett Dirksen, the senior Republican from Illinois and the leader of the Republican minority in the Senate, and he was the one who in the critical moments brought a number of moderate Republicans to vote for the Civil Rights Bill. And you're saying that was a deciding moment, a defining moment?
So there are three major historical facts or changes that have gotten us into the mess that we're in. So the first is the realignment of the South into the Republican column, which allowed both parties now to be pure, so that now there are basically no liberal Republicans matching up with conservative Democrats. So the parties are totally separated. The second thing that happened was replacement of the greatest generation by the baby boomers.
The greatest generation fought World War II, came home, built the country, ran the economy, people's politics, and created this consensual government.
Exactly. These are people who joined groups, had a sense of civic responsibility, participated in the democratic process. And so these people, as they moved through, they could disagree. Politics has always been contentious. But at the end of the day, they felt they were part of the same country, and in the Senate and the House, they were part of the same institution. They're replaced by the baby boomers. And what's their foundational experience? It's not responding together to a foreign threat. It's fighting each other over whether this country is doing evil or good. So you get the good-evil dichotomy about America and about each other happening in the 60s and 70s. When these people grow up, assume political office, now you got Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich. It's a lot harder for them to agree than it was for Tip O'Neill and Ronald Reagan.
So we get to the culture wars, fights over abortion, prayer in schools, and that becomes that conflict becomes very polarized.
Exactly.
And that's because of the baby boomers?
Well, the baby boomers, I think, are more prone to Manichaeism. That's right. Manichaeus was a 3rd century Persian prophet who preached that the world is a battleground between the forces of light and the forces of darkness, and everybody has to take a side. And some people have sided with good, of course, we don't believe